And then he added, love your neighbor as yourself. These relational foundations of loving God and the people you live and work with will ground and nourish and guide you as you launch into this next exciting and challenging stage of your lives. I ask God to pour out his rich favor upon you, to fill you with life and the light of his love. I ask him to go before you to open doors of opportunity for you to use your gifts and skills and passions. I ask him to give you wisdom and insight and a desire to choose right over wrong, light over darkness, to choose love. May you be as trees planted by rivers of living water, oaks of righteousness. May you be fruitful. May you be strong and courageous, and shelters of freedom and peace and hope for others.
Thank you, Ms. Behrens. We are honored today to have with us several members of the IUP Council of Trustees. Would Ms. Susan Delaney, Mr. Jonathan Mack, and Mr. Gailey Walworth please stand and be recognized. Mr. Mack is also a member of the Board of Governors of the State System of Higher Education, and we thank you for all that you do to support IUP and provide governance for the institution. I would like to also introduce members of the President's Cabinet, deans, and other faculty members on the platform who will not be speaking at today's ceremony. As I call your name, would you please stand and remain standing until all are introduced. First, Dr. Rhonda Lucky, Vice President for Student Affairs. Dr. Cornelius Wooten, Vice President for Administration and Finance. Ms. Robin Gorman, Executive Assistant to the President. Mr. Jimmy Myers, Director of Social Equity and Civic Engagement. Ms. Barbara Moore, Director of Institutional Research, Planning and Assessment. And Dr. Robert Camp, Dean of the Everly College of Business Information Technology. Dr. Mary Ann Rafith, Dean of the College of Education and Educational Technology. Mr. Michael Hood, Dean of the College of Fine Arts. Dr. Mary Swinker, Interim Dean of the College of Health and Human Services. Dr. Yaw Asamoah, Dean of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Dr. Mary Lou Zanich, Interim Dean of the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics. Mr. Luis Gonzalez, Dean of Libraries. Mr. Richard Muth, Director of the North Point Campus. And Dr. Raymond Gazelle, Interim Dean of the IUP campus at Punxsutawney. And Grand Marshal Daniel Chivoli. Please join me in welcoming the platform party. Will the members of the IUP faculty who are here today please stand to be recognized? I ask the members of the audience and those on the platform party and the graduates to join me in expressing our gratitude for the contributions that the faculty have made to ensure the success of the graduates who are here today. So, another round of applause. Please now welcome our student speaker, Dr. Dawn Fells. Dr. Fells earned her PhD in English in August from IUP's renowned Composition and TESOL graduate program. She's an associate professor of English at IUP. She has had a distinguished 15-year career as a published author, researcher, writing center director, mentor to new colleagues, and contributor to professional organizations. As a doctoral student, Dr. Fells earned all the top spots in competitions for hiring, assistantships, and awards. And finally, I discovered as we were waiting in line that I was the dean of the school where she received her undergraduate degree a few years ago. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Dawn Fells.
Thank you, Dr. Werner, and the distinguished members of the Platform Party, graduates, family, and friends. Good morning and welcome to our commencement ceremony. I am proud and honored to represent the English department and the Graduate Studies in Composition and TESOL program. We all have people we need to thank for getting us here today, and I would like to begin by thanking my children, Cameron and Zeta, and Drs. John Pagnucci and Gloria Park for nominating me to deliver this address today. I'd also like to recognize university professor and my dissertation advisor, Dr. Ben Rafith. Dr. Rafith is the reason that I chose to attend IUP. Thank you, Ben, wherever you are, for your constant and committed support. Commencement means a new beginning, and it's really somewhat of an irony that I have been asked to offer the student reflection this morning. You see, I've always had a problem with that word being used to describe a ceremony that marks the end of an extraordinary experience. To say goodbye to being a student is really hard for me, and to deliver these remarks in which I have no choice but to admit that it's over, even harder. Still, I am a teacher. I know that my education is not over, and neither is yours. And like you, I am happy to have my work completed, my degree earned, and my future ahead of me. As I look for a way to frame a reflection on a day when we are expected to start anew, I was reminded of the words of novelist Sherman Alexie. Alexie wrote The Lone Ranger and Tonto Fistfight in Heaven, a short story on which the award-winning movie Smoke Signals is based. About the story and the movie, Alexie once said that both put a human face on the struggles that we all have from time to time. Struggles with uncertainty, pain, fear, change, and difference. And what is graduate school, if not one or more of these from time to time, right? Alexie's advice to those hoping to move on is sometimes to go forward, you have to drive in reverse. Sometimes to go forward, you have to drive in reverse. Now, imagine doing that. If you've ever driven in reverse, you know how disorienting it can be. If you are not a driver, you can get the same sensation by walking backwards while looking in a mirror. I've tried this with students, by the way. Either way, the result isn't pretty. In fact, it can be quite humbling, sometimes humiliating, and perhaps even painful. The trick is to watch where you are going, to slow down, and to realize that the probability of crashing into something, no matter how careful you are, increases the farther back you go. But to go back, sometimes way back, is what you must do in order to move on. To simply retreat to what is safe, to only notice what you want to notice, to only listen to those who agree with you, and to only rely on what you already knew limits your potential. Now, how does this fit with today's commencement? The movie is about the struggle to fit in. We all struggle to fit in, and sometimes the college classroom is where those struggles play out. The constraints and expectations of society, culture, the institution, our family, and our friends all intersect for us in the classroom. In the classroom, we meet people who are unlike us, who have had experiences we wish we had, or pray we never do. There, we realize that there are other truths to live by. There, we are asked, some of us for the first time, what do you think? What do you want to become? What difference do you want to make in this world that we share? During our time together, we feel both safe and unsafe to be ourselves. We risk to hope, to dream, to change, to be different. We struggle with the reality that we will not emerge from this experience the same person we were when we began. We worry about what or whom we might lose as a result of our transition from being to becoming. I once had a friend who worked very hard to get where he sits today. He was described as a bright rising star by many who knew him. But in the end, his fear got the best of him, and he retreated to what was safe. He didn't want to be different. He didn't want to be himself either. How sad it is to know